yet again. This is my friend Summer, and Summer is going to share a little bit about anxiety and depression with us. Summer is married to Brett, and they have two wonderful children who I am huge fans of, Boston and Briley. And Boston has a lot of health issues, and Brett, as well as Summer, have just experienced a lot of loss and grief, and that's kind of translated to some anxiety and depression. Summer, could you just start us off by sharing what anxiety is like for you on a daily basis, and then kind of how you recognize it and how you've learned to move forward?
Sure. Anxiety kind of presents itself in a lot of ways for me. It usually begins with excessive worry about things that are out of my control, and then fear sets in, and my thoughts just kind of disrupt my day-to-day living, where it makes it kind of hard to function. It can be paralyzing at times.
Could you share, for people that don't know, could you share just a little bit about Boston and kind of your journey with him and kind of how that's affected your anxiety?
Yeah, sure. Boston was born in 2008. He was pretty healthy at birth. Nothing appeared to be wrong at all. But when he was 5 months old, he experienced his first seizure. And from that point, within the first 2 years of his life, he coded 3 times. And I was there to witness all 3 of those incidents. And then things kind of leveled off for a while, and he started stabilizing for several years. He might have a seizure, once or twice a year. But then last year, he had scoliosis, and he had to go in for a surgery to place a couple rods in. But he ended up becoming infected and had to have 5 surgeries within 4 months, and within that time he had to have several transfusions and just was a very, very sick little boy, and we almost lost him again. So it's just been, kind of touch and go his whole life, and it's constantly there.
Yeah. What happens to you physically when you start to get anxious?
Physically, I take on a lot of things. I feel tense muscles. I feel restless. Then I feel fatigued because I'm restless.
Yeah.
My thoughts just, consume me. At night, I lay there and have a lot of dark thoughts. And it's hard to, just let that go. Also, I can become really irritable, which I'm not proud of, but it happens. And I have a lot of feeling, like when I become irritable, then I have feelings of guilt and shame. And I feel a lot of guilt and shame too, just because I'm a Christian and I shouldn't feel this way. I should trust God, and but so it's just a lot of unrest, I would say, is the so.
What kind of got you started on your journey towards healing and figuring out healthy ways to cope with your anxiety?
At first I was really reluctant to seek help because of the guilt and the shame surrounded by mental health, and just the stigmatism that goes with that. But a very trusted friend of mine invited me to a women's support group, and I said yes, kind of with just like, yeah, we'll see. We'll give it a whirl just to support my friend or whatever. But it turned into 5 years of some of the most meaningful healing times of my life. And that really is what catapulted me into my healing journey. And I'm not saying that I'm healed. I'm saying that it's a day-to-day journey I'm still on. So, but yeah, that was definitely... In meeting with those women, it empowered me to seek outside help with a therapist and to talk to my medical doctor about getting some other help. And those things coupled together really helped a lot, to the point where I no longer felt like I couldn't function. Like I was getting tools to re-enter life, so to speak.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. I love that that led to such a deep relationship for you, and you were like, Psh, whatever, I'll
Right.
go support my friend.
Right.
You're like, fast forward, it's been 5 years. That's amazing.
It's actually been 10 years now.
10 years now.
So
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
still really great friends with those women. So
Yeah, well,
Yep.
thank goodness you were trying to support that friend. So how does your anxiety kind of manifest during the holidays? Is there anything that kind of catapults that? What are the holidays like for you?
Yeah, the holidays are really hard. They're a constant reminder to me that my life is not normal, and that it's a reminder of what used to be and a reminder of what's never going to be again. And there's a relentless sense of sadness and dread that come along with the holidays for me. And what has helped me is having my daughter. She's 9, and trying to make it special for her and magical, just that has helped me take the focus off of my sadness. And so it's been a help.
How has Jesus impacted your journey with anxiety and depression?
Well, I will start off by saying I've been a Christian most of my life, but when Boston was diagnosed and started just having, these crazy episodes, I felt really, really angry towards God, and I felt afraid to put my trust in him, because I felt by giving him control, I was giving him permission to take my son away from me. And that was like the one thing that I'd been fighting for so hard, was to keep him alive. And so I held on to that. I just held on to that control, like needing to keep him alive. And I just could not release that for a long time, for about 3 or 4 years. So that was hard. But when I finally came to the point of surrender, Jesus met me in my despair, and he graciously revealed to me how for decades he had been preparing me for these hardships, just one at a time, each step of the way. It was just like he took the veil from my eyes, and I could just see, like, wow, like, how kind you are, God, for seeing me, for knowing before I could even possibly know, that it was just such an encouragement to know that he was there all the time, even when I certainly didn't feel it, and especially when I didn't deserve it. And then I think probably one of the biggest realizations that I had was just sitting in church one day. I was just feeling so alone in my sadness and my despair, and this thought just came to me. It was just, Jesus said, when I was on earth, I was lonely too. I know loneliness. And I mean, talk about a dagger, just, yeah, you knew excruciating loneliness, loneliness that I can't even, begin to comprehend. But in that moment, I felt like he was meeting me in my loneliness and reminding me again, I see you, you're not alone. And it's just such a good feeling to know that I'm seen and loved by him.
Gosh, what a beautiful picture. Like I feel like it's so easy to, God is a God of love and grace and acceptance, and yes to all of that, but to remember that God is present in those moments, and that Jesus felt that at such a deeper level than what we have, which feels almost impossible. Right. Really, so that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. As we kind of come to a close here, could you share any encouragement that you would have for people that are, I think it's important to acknowledge that everybody has, circumstantial anxiety and depression. You go through just very serious things. And that's hard, and you have to go through that and lean on God in that moment. But then it's a whole other thing, to kind of share what you're talking about, where you just have that daily struggle. And you and I have talked about how, depression and anxiety isn't something you conquer. It is an ongoing journey. So what would you say to people that are maybe haven't been able to get help yet, or are just starting the process of healing?
Mm-hmm. I would say, first of all, just be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up for how you feel. If Boston or Briley, my kids, if they were to be depressed or to feel shame or guilt, would I say, come on, snap out of it? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Of course not. Like, I would move heaven and earth to help them. I would do whatever I could do. But so I need to give myself that same grace and that same compassion. And that was really hard for me to do. Let's see. Another thing is that it's natural when you're depressed, you want to isolate. You don't want to be around people. You want to stay on the couch all day. You want to curl up in your blankets all day long and check out. Don't do it. Stop. So try to surround yourself with people that are safe, people that genuinely care about you and see you. Some people might think that's family, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just an outside person that you need. You just need to surround yourself. And in doing that, it's a very vulnerable thing. It's hard. It's scary to ask for help and to just even a simple check-in. Like, I had a group of girls that for many years we just did like a daily check-in, and it was you'd think it's just like whatever, but just knowing that they're there every single day and that they're my people and I'm not alone. So I think that's really important. And then finally, in 2014, I was diagnosed with cancer, and my husband's grandma, who I love dearly, taught me this little prayer that she prays. She passed it on to me, and I prayed it every day during my cancer journey. And it's simply, God, I love you. I need you. And please let my faith be greater than my fear. And I know it sounds very simple, but it's powerful and it's healing. And it really got me through those days of treatment and surgeries and, days that I just didn't feel like I can't do it. So I just put my trust in Jesus, and I'm thankful. It's what's been neat about the fact that you asked me to be a part of this is that 10, 12 years ago, I would never could have seen this. And if you would ask, the girls that were in my group all those years ago, that I would be sitting here today, they probably could not fathom it. And I know that I'm just like, I can't believe that. Not to say that, I've got it all together now, but the fact that I can stand here today and tell you that depression and anxiety has not overcome me. I'm living proof of that. And so I'm just really grateful.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for taking the time and for letting us in and sharing that with us. If you guys get the chance to meet Boston, you just gotta do it. That kid is just the best, and he radiates joy in a way that I have never experienced, and I just love that kid. Summer is going to join our panel, so even though it's kind of towards the end of our time together tonight, if you've got a question for her, please still text that in, and we're going to get ready for our panel. Thanks again, Summer. Thanks.